Hello everyone, welcome to my mini lecture. Today, I'd like to share with you some useful English expressions about apple you may not know. First, I have some questions for you. Tony, do you love apples?
Yes, of course.
What do you think of when we talk about apples?
iPhone.
Yes, many people will probably think of Steve Jobs' iPhone or iPad. But today we won't discuss Apple products. Instead, we are going to learn some useful English expressions about Apple you're not familiar with. Tony, do you know what apples symbolize in Chinese traditions?
I don't know.
Well, during the Lunar New Year and on other special occasions, apples are common gifts. Because the word for apple in Chinese is ping, and the homonym of ping is peace. So, apple symbolize peace in Chinese. Similarly, Western people also believe the apple has the great powers of keeping people healthy.
Yes, just as the old saying goes, an apple a day keep the doctor away.
Very good. Next, let's take a look at the following expressions. Tony, do you know what these expressions stand for?
Adam's apple, big apple, love apple, and the apple of one's eye. Let me think. Does Adam's apple stand for forbidden fruit?
Well, a lot of people may think so. In fact, it isn't forbidden fruit. The origins of this term go all the way back to the biblical event where Eve gave Adam a forbidden fruit, which is commonly misrepresented as an apple. The term then basically comes from the legend that when he ate a piece of apple, the piece got stuck in his throat and made a lump, which left a mark on the front part of his throat. So, Adam's apple stands for 喉结 in Chinese.
Oh, how interesting. Adam's apple has nothing to do with forbidden fruit. Got it. Then, what does big apple mean, Mr. Liang?
Here, the Big Apple is the nickname of a world-famous city. Can you guess, Tony?
London? Paris? Seoul? I don't know.
Actually, the Big Apple refers to New York City. New York City has been called many things. The Great American Melting Pot, the city that never sleeps.
But its most famous nickname undoubtedly is the Big Apple.
Where did this nickname come from?
In the late 1920s and early 1930s, New York City's jazz musicians began referring to New York City as the Big Apple. Later, the 1971 campaign featured red apples in an effort to lure visitors to New York City.
I see. Got it.
Since then, New York City has officially been the Big Apple. Let's move on to love apple.
I've seen this expression somewhere. It has nothing to do with apple. Yes, it refers to tomato.
You're right, Tony. In the 16th century, Spain imported the tomato from South America after Spanish explorers had landed there. Spain then exported the tomato to Morocco. Italian traders carried it on to Italy. The Italian name for the tomato was Pomo di Moro, apple of the Moors. When French growers imported from Italy, they thought di Moro meant the Moor, the French word for love. And so, Pomo di Moro became the apple of love.
Wow, so romantic.
The last phrase, apple of one's eye, has been around for several hundred years. It appears in the Bible. Keep me at the apple of the eye. The apple here doesn't refer to the fruit, but the pupil in one's eye. People believe that the eye's pupil is apple-shaped and that eyes are particularly precious. So, the phrase apple of one's eye refers to something or someone that one cherishes above all others. For example, Mary is the apple of his grandfather's eye. Tony, can you make a sentence using this expression?
Let me think. Miranda is the apple of my eye. I love her more than anything on earth.
Good job! You are so smart!
Next, let's review these expressions about apple. Today we have learned 4 English expressions about apple you may not know. With these interesting expressions, it will be much easier for you to understand and remember English expressions well. And here's your assignment.
Study more expressions about apple, apples and oranges, apple polisher, apple of discord, rotten apple. I'm expecting your oral presentation. Thank you for watching. See you.